As we've heard, the world is a busy, complicated, but beautiful place. We all know that, right? It's a lot. Living here on the planet, on the surface, in the time of the Holocene, with all that we humans have done, all that we've created, all that we're destroying, all that we're changing, all that we're learning. It's tragic. It's astounding. It feels horrifying, and it feels exciting. So when you stop to take it all in on a planetary scale, it can feel pretty overwhelming. Does anyone ever feel that? Maybe today? As an artist and a geographer, I'm fascinated with our spatial imaginations. What scales do we think at? From what perspective? How does this current state of overwhelm affect our ability to meaningfully orient ourselves? I believe a slow disorientation is occurring. We spend more and more time on virtual spaces and in a lot of spaces that are ubiquitous and man-made. We need an antidote, something to ground us. And I'm here today to offer you one small one. So I invite you all to join me in a simple meditation on place. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and sink back into your own personal life story. Think of the places on the planet that you've spent time, and through direct experience of being there, have formed an attachment to those places. Maybe it's because of family and places you were raised. Maybe it's a place where you first felt awe, or where you had a shared sense of belonging, of love. It could be a place where you feel a part of something bigger, perhaps even a planet beneath your feet. It's a place that you feel like you're part of the place's story, and you are a part of its story. Now, I'd like you to open your eyes, and if you dare, just turn to the person next to you, and just in a few sentences, just explain the place that came up. Just tell them, if you don't mind. It's okay. Okay, it seems like you guys could talk for a while, but I'm going to wrap it up. Okay, so now what if I asked you to draw me a map of that place? How would you capture it? What scale would you use? What perspective? Maybe bird's eye view or aerial or street view? And what details would be really important to make sure that you put in there? What would you include? There's no dropped pins, no uploaded photo albums. It's just you and a small 5x5 piece of watercolor paper. And the results can be exquisite. Over the past 10 years, I've offered workshops, map-making workshops, which guide people through a creative process of making their own maps of places that they love. And I've done this for kindergartners, high school students, college students. I've done this in public libraries, corporate retreats, conferences, and with people who love maps. And there's a lot of you out there. And there's some people who don't want to read maps and claim they can't read maps. And for people who love art, like art teachers, and people who swear they have not one artistic bone in their body. But everyone through this process walks away feeling more grounded and more oriented. I believe that at the crux of these workshops, capturing and amplifying this love of place, what Yi-Fu Tuan called topophilia, is perhaps as critical to our survival as any new technology. This attachment to place, psychological, social, physiological connection to a small part of the planet is actually a vital component of what makes us and will keep us engaged Earthlings. To borrow words from the late Mary Oliver, these little maps are a way to announce our place in the family of things. It is key to our humanity. It's not to be forgotten or taken for granted, but it has been, and we need to find ways to bring it back. Now, I make custom maps as a living, so I make drawings, paintings, woodcuts, murals of our attachment to place, and I love this job. It's my dream job, but realize that it's not as rewarding as encouraging other people to do the same thing about their own places. Seeing them express their own personal geographies is just incredible. The magic is in giving people permission to express their own attachment in a way that no one else has, and to see the physical results in their own hands. But we have to give ourselves the time. We have to give ourselves the space and remind ourselves that we're not only capable of doing something creative, but that you're actually responsible for upholding your connection to place. A large part of the success of the workshops is starting on a bedrock of personal meaning. And we do this by always starting with an open-ended mental map of a life story, or revisiting old places in your life, or your daily routine. And this is not usually automatic for people. No one said, oh, I've done this before. People are pretty hesitant at first. And sometimes the lines that they start to draw are even so faint I can't even see them. But as we start to share and kind of allow people to be honest with themselves, there's something that comes out. And they start to map all kinds of places. And usually the one that they choose to put on their little piece of paper is not necessarily the one that they thought coming in. It's not their new beach house. It's not their trip to the Caribbean. It's something more intimate. It's something that only they know. And we don't give ourselves the time or the prompts to really share this with others. But once we have it and we've navigated to it, we have a lot to say. And this is true for the littlest among us. And this is true for the older ones among us. And what's really magical is doing it together across generations, because this is how we are giving and receiving what it's like to live on this planet. It's embodied. And when you take the time to celebrate this through art, a whole nother level opens up, because you begin to realign yourself through moving your own hand, through deciding what color, what line, what details. The journey itself creates new understandings. And, I don't leave people in the dark. I walk people through the process, and I help them with the same design problems that I use in my professional job, which is what scale tells the best story, what perspective feels the most relevant, and then how are we going to simplify? You might omit some things. You might expand them things. You might contort the truth a little bit, because this is your story, right? Art is a lie that helps us tell the truth, said Picasso. So why do little watercolor maps matter? Given that all that we're dealing with, all the more practical, scalable, real-world problem solving that we need to focus on, attachment to place, however small, to the planet's surface matters. It's what keeps us belonging here. It's what keeps us Earthlings. And a human's love of place is an incredible global asset. We, being the most powerful species on the earth, what we love, what we want to take care of, that's powerful stuff. Talk to any other species. But these connections are dynamic. We can keep them dormant and forget about them, and we can strengthen them and bring them to the forefront of our minds. And when we begin to accumulate and share and acknowledge these together, something bigger starts happening. We start to see a different world. It's equalizing, it's validating, it's affirming. And when we're truly sharing in a non-proprietary way from our heart, the places that matter to us, most political tensions can fall away because this is a heart-based connection. Planetary stewardship. It's a wonderful idea, but how do we get there? Few of us can feel attached to and love the entire planet. It's not exactly how we're made as a human. We, as humans, begin our passions and our direction and our connection, our sense of purpose, as an embodied being in place. And these experiences over time, in our whole lifetimes if we're lucky, through what we smell, what we sense, what we feel, gives us a lasting relationship that can provide us the wisdom, the assurance to move forward with our lives. And you can't replace or automatize or digitize that visceral sense of belonging. And that's what these images represent. And these mapettes are really also a creative act of resistance. It's going back and reclaiming your own raw, radical, unique spatial imaginations. And you're not letting someone else author that for you. This theme also runs through my own work, reclaiming the power of our own spatial imaginations to create new visualizations, new expressions of belonging, not only in place, but in planet. And art can foster conversations about belonging and place. Here's that same painting being used in the classroom in my hometown of Portland for conversations in a diverse class about community, about belonging. And so we need different kinds of visuals, not just Google Maps, not just the ones we're handed, not the ones on our phone, but new ones that really come from our heart and our sense of connection. Everyone deserves a place they can love, and to lean on it as a source of nourishment and alignment. It's certification that you belong here. And with that sense of belonging in our back pocket, let's look up, and as Thomas Berry asked us to be, let's be universe people. Thank you.